This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com.
Hello. This is Edna White, and you are keeping it real on purpose. I wanted to come on today to tell you all something that's been on my mind. I was going to do a video about it or a reel about it, but it had too much content for me to have it to say it for 30 seconds, say it for 60 seconds, for us to sit there and wait for you to view it. I wanted you to hear it from my mouth. I am so bothered by people that keep saying they're people of God when every person is God's person, right? I'm so tired of that. I'm so tired of them picking out sections. That's the best religion. That's the best, place to be, best people to be with. But yet we holler at the white supremacists. You get it? If we're doing this in a godly form, we're supposed to be so religious, especially Christianity, and we have the best religion there is in the world, and we love best. But in actuality, we all don't show those fruits of the Spirit. We don't show those things. You see, I think we got all turned around when we start viewing God as a him, a her, a it, a being, instead of it being God as a force, the main source. And when you speak like that, you really can't put a face, a picture, or anything on it. But when you start saying, he is powerful, he is great, he is awesome, how do you know he's a he? You never met him. Oh, but I'm getting off the subject. I wanted to talk about the three types of people God, the universe, chooses and uses. And if you're perfect, without a fault, I'm sorry, you need to turn this audio off and say goodbye, because this is not for you. Now, there are people in this world that have come to this world. That's the magic difference. That have come to this world to have a human experience, to learn the lessons they need to fulfill their energetic experience. The universe does not choose anybody perfect, because if you're perfect when you come here in the spirit, but in the human form you're not. So God or the universe does not choose perfect people. The people are broken and rejected. And if we were to be all biblical about it, and the book that you all read, the Christians especially, and their measuring stick, if we were to do that, we'd see in the Bible that there was nothing but broken people being used and given lessons. It's nothing like broken things. I know when I used to really get into art, and I was doing a lot of artistry for healing, I would find broken things and kind of put them together, and work with them and make them like this outstanding, I don't know, statue to put in the living room or, in my room. There's nothing like that. It was nothing like having a broken doll and putting it back together and creating something nice out of it. Nothing like that, because all my dolls were broken and I kind of put pieces to them or glued them or put something nice on them and changed the way they look. It was nothing like them, and I always wanted them. Think of Angelica from the Rugrats. All of her doll's hair is cut off, and I think she colored her teeth, with missing teeth and everything. And she loves that doll. If she ever would lose it, she would go crazy. They would have to find it. But broken things are despised and tossed to the side, right? When something is broken, it means it does not work the way it was originally intended. It's faulty, and it's no longer considered useful. Broken people aren't perfect. They've learned some very hard lessons in life, and their biggest realization is that due to their brokenness, they needed something higher than themselves to protect them and calm their fears. They needed the universe. They needed God. And that's the most humbling thing. See, humbleness means knowing that you don't know everything. Realizing you don't know everything, and you have to get out of your way to be able to hear and to know more information. See, that's what's wrong with Christianity. That's what's wrong with some religions, most religions, is they're not humble enough to embrace all ways of entry into rightness. It's not about the rights, because that's the law. We don't come into this spiritual realm. We don't come from a spiritual realm to a human realm to all of a sudden be bound by laws, unless it's the laws of the land, because we do have to obey those. But to have a law for entry into the spirit realm that we already have privilege to is idiotic. It doesn't make sense. To have entry into a spirit realm that you already have access to on your own doesn't make sense. So God has never looked at the physical appearance. And I don't think that's a great statement. I don't like that statement. Let me just say, that's not what was intended when God allowed a spirit form like us to come here. We are to learn the lessons we need to learn in order for the whole source to have what it feels like to be human. All the information, it's like a database. We come here as a star or a ball of energy. Let's just do that, ball of energy, and then clothe into what is called a baby. It's formed as an egg and it comes out as a baby, formed, then you're an adult. We have to choose. We are now that spirit being living in our energy and human body, we now have the choice to choose what we do with our bodies and how we navigate this world. 2 hands, 2 feet, 2 ears, 2 eyes. To navigate, right? This world. The universe chooses those who have those messy pasts, something to clean up. So the universe will give you prompts to get that right, get this right, get that right. Should I have been perfect in my life, I wouldn't have been a broken vessel that would everyone tossed aside as trash, and no one saw value in me or was willing to show value in me. So I had to rely on the universe to send me those things, those resources around me to help me gently whisper into my ear, gently pull me up, and give me the sense of value again. Because I was broken. I was broken in pieces. Now, my brokenness altogether broke the two eyes, 2 ears, 2 hands, 2 feet, right? Because now that's all shifted and changed. So the way that I now perceive the world is different, but it can be worked on and adjusted with my brokenness within me. Because listen, broken people help other broken people. So the reason why the churches are full, the synagogues, chapels, whatever they are, they're full because they're all broken people. So broken people help broken people until they've come so much that they start to rely on that information to help them not be broken when they can access it directly and tap into it. The universe chooses flawed people because those are the ones we can resonate with. We can't relate to the holy and righteous, but we relate to the ones who have had a division at some time of themselves. That's what sin is. It's a separation of who you really were. Excuse me. It's who you really were. It's a separation of who you really were. Sin. It's a division. It is through those messes that we find the messages that people can resonate with. It is those mistakes that give us a voice to reach those who feel unworthy. How can you help me get through my pain if you know no pain? Broken people have empathy and are able to feel and understand the pain of another person because they themselves have been through it. They understand what it looks like and feels like to be inadequate. So they can turn to you and help you. They can turn to you and encourage you. They can turn to you and be real and say, I'm not finished yet, but I know this is what I did to do da 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 da. I like a person who's still healing and is not healed. Healing's a lifetime. Now, if we go back to God now, God loves the broken. All his children. All his children he loves. All his children he loves. In this whole world, are all his children. Well, I said it again. See, I'm being really bad. But see how easy you can fall into it? God loves the children of this world. God uses them to show the world that they are equipped to become useful to other humans. When people see the life of the broken completely transformed or transforming and making life new each chapter, they want to know more. The second type of people God, the universe, chooses and uses is the least of them all. So we know the story. 2 women went to the temple to pray. One perfect, other broken. The perfect one sat in front and prayed, God, I thank you for making me as perfect as I am, and I'm not like the prostitutes, the sinners, and the unbelievers and the evildoers. I attend church every Sunday, fast twice a week, and always give generously during offerings. And the broken woman sat in the corner of the room, sobbing and praying, God, thank you that you allowed my brokenness into your presence. I'm sorry for not being all that you created me to be. I'm broken, I'm weak. Please help me. I'm a lost sinner, and the least of them all. Have mercy and save me from myself. Give me back my will. The perfect woman stood confidently in the front of the church, boasting in her righteousness and self-proclaiming how perfectly wonderful she is. The broken woman sat low in the back, admitting her faults and how unworthy she feels to be there, and asked for help. Now, God loves them both. But guess which of the 2 women God justified and would use later? I'll wait. I'll take a sip of my coffee while I do it. Okay. So many will tell you that God helps those who help themselves. But I tell you this. God, the universe, helps those who utilize how helpless they are and recognize that they can't do it on their own. They have to use the source that's within them, and they have to use resources around them. The third type of people God, the universe, chooses and uses is the outcasts and misfits. Being an outcast or a misfit is an advantage if you want to experience something extraordinary in your life. I know being an outcast and a misfit, a rebel on top of that, means that you're awake to something that society is asleep to. You think, act, and feel differently from most people. The majority of the people are traditional, fixed mind, and mentally programmed to do things in a certain way. They seldom question anything. But outcasts and misfits and rebels will question everything and are placed on earth to help their generation evolve. Think about that. This is why God, the universe, chooses and uses them. Outcasts and misfits have the freedom to listen to their own inner guidance and to the voice of their intuition, then listen to what people say and make an educated decision, because they're not constrained by the rigid and boring rules of the world. God does choose the broken, the least of them all, the outcasts and the misfits, because they are rejected by society in this human world. And that's a requirement for being the best vessel to be used. I wrote a book a number of years ago called Am I Fit? And this is when I was going through my transition from religion, 29 years serving in religion, to spirituality and an intelligence that I had woken up to 10 years prior to the 29 years. But because of my brokenness, I wanted to be soothed, and I didn't want to ruffle feathers. So I had the good girl syndrome, and I didn't know how to get rid of it. And this book takes apart a lot of what I just spoke about now with scriptures and makes them clear. You know, I would really like to hear my audience's thoughts on it. And if you want to take a peek at this book, I will give it to you, my audience, in ebook format for free. So if you are listening in today to this podcast, the 3 types of people God chooses and uses. I want you to accept this free gift. Comment. You know how to do that on Anchor, right? I know you do. Yes, you do. You just press the little button on the side and it will send a message directly to me. All you have to do is send me your full name and your email address. Spell it out slowly so that I know. Or you can just comment wherever you see this post is and direct message me, and I'll send you the code right over. But I'd like to hear your comments and your words of advice and anything that you'd like to share with me on this subject. I'm passionate about challenging what we really, really are here meant to do. I'm passionate about being an outcast, being a misfit, being a rebel. I'm passionate about that because I believe challenging even yourself is a good and healthy way to live a real life. I hope today's story, not even a story. This is a little bit of a story. But today's podcast will encourage you, give you some words of reflection, bring up some questions within you. And if you want to buy the book in paper format, you can always go to Amazon and look up my name, Edna J. White. And if you'd like to talk to me personally, you can reach me at 631-772-9098. Or you can reach out to me in email, ednajwhite11@gmail.com. This is Edna White on Keeping It Real on Purpose. Thank you for listening. And be alert. And remember to tick the bell so that you won't miss an episode. You won't miss nothing. Talk to you real soon.